Genshin Impact new character Yunjin is set to feature in a Wish banner in the near future, possibly in the 2.4 update. A Geopolarm character from Leah who performs as an opera singer is a decent setup, but releases from her voice lines, her singing voice specifically, has caused confusion for some and voicing outright bigotry for others. I want to make one thing absolutely clear right from the get-go. If you don't like her singing or shichi, Chinese opera, 对不起我的家人对不起, or find it funny or odd, that's fine. You do not have to like her singing or shichi, and new things from other cultures can be funny or odd to outsiders. What isn't okay are statements made by certain fans. I do believe some are trolling, but I'm going to be taking a lot of this at face value for the purpose of this video. First, let's delve into shichi. Shichi is a form of Chinese theatre which combines various art forms that existed in ancient China. It evolved over the course of more than 1,000 years, but reached its most contemporary form in the 13th century during the Song dynasty, 1960 to 1279. The earliest forms of Chinese opera were fairly simplistic, but over time, as it evolved and grew, it incorporated various different art forms, such as music, song and dance, martial arts, acrobatics, costume and makeup art, as well as literary art forms. There are so many different regional forms of shichi that it's actually hard to pinpoint. It was estimated to be around the number of 350 different regional genres in 1957. But in current day, the Chinese government could only identify 162 forms for its intangible cultural heritage list. Peking opera or Beijing opera, known as Jingju in Mandarin, is the most dominant form of Chinese opera. To the untrained ear, the singing in Chinese opera can sound like high-pitched wailing, but it's actually a sliding scale of vocalization that creates a sense of smooth continuity between songs and speech. There exist three basic categories of vocal production technique: the use of breath, yongqi, pronunciation, fayin, and a phrase that I'm definitely about to butcher because I can't quite get my head around K's and Z's in pinyin, the special Peking opera pronunciation, shankoji. Shankozi. I'm so sorry, ancestors. I'm so sorry. I could literally be here for the next 5 hours if I went through all the different types of vocalizations and techniques and dances and all the different art forms, so I'm going to stop it here before we go into a massive tangent about Xingqi because you only really need a background. It is a meticulous job of performing in shichis. Kung Chu actors are chosen at the age of 11. They are handpicked to become these performers and they have to train. They have to learn all of these things, all of the singing and the dancing and the instruments and the martial arts, and again, all of these things compacted together. It is not easy. It is a lot of work to become one of these performers. So let's talk about Yunjin. Yunjin is supposed to be the personification of Chinese opera. She represents shichi. She's also the first character to have two different voice actors, with Judy Alice Lee voicing her normal lines while a Beijing opera singer Yang Yang provides her singing voice. mihoyo actually made Yunjin an exception because they decided to keep Yang Yang's traditional singing for all different language versions of the game. There's no easy way to translate her operatic singing into other languages while also keeping the cultural accuracy and integrity. Also, I'm having a super big problem with her name for some reason. I keep saying Yinjun. It's not. It's Yunjin. What's going on? I don't think I've captured any of it in this recording, but what's up with that? Who knows? Is it possible to be dyslexic, but only in your other languages and not in your main one? We're going off topic. In comparison to this, on the other side of the coin, we have Western opera, which is a traditional part of Western classical music, originating in Italy towards the end of the 16th century. in around 1598. Now, I'm no singer in any language, in any kind of classical music from anywhere around the world, but I'm going to attempt to explain the difference in my own little, extremely simplified and uneducated perspective. Now, from what I see, stereotypical shichi is generally very high-pitched and it's like on the tip of your tongue at the top of your throat, whereas Italian opera tends to go a lot lower down to the very base of your throat and possibly even into your stomach area. And also I feel like Chinese opera has a lot more ee noises, whereas Italian opera has a lot of ah noises. There you go, folks. Charlie's one-on-one lesson to the difference between shichi and Italian opera, the throat and E and R. Obviously, there are so many different, more vocal techniques in both forms of opera, but because I think the stereotypical version of Western opera is very throaty and more belting ah out, I think that's why a lot of Western Genshin Impact fans were taken aback when they first heard her sing. And I'm totally okay with Westerners finding it to be a little bit strange and be taken aback and maybe even find it funny, because if you hear a sound that you've never heard before in your life, you're gonna have one of those reactions because it's something you're not used to. And then you get reactions that aren't people simply being taken aback or simply expressing their dislike of something, such as, WTF, was that Yunjin? Never sing again, please. I'ma just mute the Genshin tweet so I don't need to see kids be out of touch with this world. Now, the initial tweet makes complete sense, like complete confusion and a dislike of it, which is absolutely fine, but then you're gonna tell people that they're out of touch with the world? Like, sis, you're the one that recoiled in horror when listening to a snippet of media that has been around for over 1,000 years in China, which is now being put into a Chinese video game. Like, what were you expecting? Italian, German, French? Based on these two screenshots, I don't believe that this person is bigoted, but their reaction to being told, hey, this is why it sounds like this, is to tell people that they're out of touch. Oh, girl. I almost burst out laughing in front of the co-workers. What the F is this? LMFAO. That's fine, it's just the next one where it said, this one also made the ching-chongs mad. Effing 68 quotes, bro, LMFAO. There's 1.4 billion people in China, so expected. Now, this pretty much just cements to me that these two are trolls, because first you go with the racial slur and then you move on to the fact that, well, there's loads of people in China, so of course they're quote tweeting me. And I think you know that Twitter's banned in China. I think you know that I know that you know that Twitter's banned in China. It's just, I just wish people could come up with, like, more, inventive slurs. If you're gonna insult me, bruh, make it original. Replying to somebody, it's traditional Chinese opera. That's just sad. Rice people are in no position to tell other people that they are ugly, kek. Anyway, have fun in your sweatshop, bat muncher. Yeah, this has got to be another troll. Like I said, I think a lot of them are trolls. I did see some tweets that have now been deleted, which I'm sure were serious, because why would a troll delete their tweet? Unless they were like, okay, I want to be a level 5 troll, but I'm getting level 10 troll attention, so I'm going to delete this tweet. It's too much effort for me. I wasn't ready to be a level 10 troll today. A couple of people theorizing that it's the CCP trying to indoctrinate people with propaganda, even though, again, Chinese opera outdates the CCP by, I don't know, maybe 1,000 or more years. And people legitimately tweeting out slurs and then deleting it. And again, why would a troll delete the tweet? So, it's sad. You don't have to like certain things about a culture. I'm no fan of Lederhosen, but the Germans can do what they want. as long as it's not what they did in the 1940s. But more than that, more than the trolls and the genuine bigotry, there was the confusion and the surprise, which I can understand. Maybe you'd be surprised if you've never heard Chinese opera before, but why are we baffled that a Chinese company has put elements of Chinese culture in their video game? Like, why is this a shock to some people? Some people got over the initial shock and either liked it or didn't like it, but there are some people, again, I can't get the tweets, I'm really sorry, but they were genuinely confused as to why there was Chinese music at a Chinese game. And this is where I want to talk about the Western gaze and the idea that anything that isn't in the West is completely alien or somehow less valuable because it's not Western. I think those who inhabit the West are so used to having their own media and being in this little bubble of that media, they forget that the rest of the world exists. And I think when you're playing a game that is not Western, you should possibly be open to the fact that there's going to be non-Western aspects in it, which is great because it's going to widen all of your horizons and you're going to learn so much more and maybe enjoy new things. And I think that's a great thing. But some of these really vitriolic negative reactions that were genuine and weren't just trolling is based on the fact that there is such a focus on the West. And I get it. You know, Western players live in the West. It's not a surprise. But maybe think about the idea that you're not playing a Western game. It's a little bit frustrating because not everything is going to conform to the Western standard. So I think the shock and surprise should actually reflect on what the people are expecting from foreign media and why they are shocked and surprised by certain things being in it. Food for thought, perhaps. I just wanted to talk about this very briefly because I love Genshin Impact and I'm really happy about the new character. I cannot wait to get her and play her. I will wish for her until the end of time. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.